Welcome to day 8 of my 12 Days of Christmas, and the show for today, Game of Thrones, the show everyone loves. Right, that's right, everyone really enjoyed the last few seasons. It's definitely not controversial in the slightest, and that's of course why I've chosen to do a video on it, where people can comment. I've made a very terrible mistake, but never mind that, because this is going to be a wholesome Game of Thrones video. We don't need to bash anything or critique anything. I did some reactions with, firstly my dad, then did one on my own, also with my friend Connor, to the final season. But you know what? I didn't mind season 8. It was rushed, yes, but I was kind of pretty happy with how things turned out in the end. But if you weren't, that's fine. But let's move on and be happy and wholesome and appreciate what the ride was, you know? Even if you aren't perfectly happy with how it ended, the journey's important, right? I sound like an arse, so let's just move on. But yeah, what we're going to be doing for this video is baking again. We'll see how this goes. And we're going to be baking some dragon egg cookies. So I found this online. It was kind of a list of about 25, I think, different Game of Thrones based craft projects you could do. And it was kind of my inspiration for ideas about what to do for Game of Thrones for a video, because I thought, you know, as controversial as the show ended up being, still absolutely love it, and I still think it's one of the best shows it's ever been. So I still want to celebrate it, and what more wholesome way of doing that than potentially failing to bake some cookies. More specifically, chocolate shortbread is going to form like the base, and then hopefully we're going to make them look like the dragon eggs that Daenerys had at the start of the show. And yes, I'm very intrigued because the pictures online, I'll put a link in the description to where I actually found this recipe and everything from. They actually looked pretty good in the pictures, so we'll see how mine turn out, shall we? And because I'm actually organised for once, I did pre-weigh all the ingredients and stuff that we needed, so I'm going to be really efficient at this, you know? We're doing well. Okay, so step 1 is preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 160 if it's a fan oven, which I've done, so we're nailing it. And then next we needed 270 grams of flour, 75 grams of caster sugar, and 40 grams of cocoa powder, which I've already measured out, and that's going to form the first basis of the mix for the dough. So in goes the flour. I know you don't have like the best view of the bowl or anything, but it's fine. Flour, then the sugar, and the cocoa powder. I've never really, I've made shortbread before. I made it with my nan years ago. Then I made it again on my own a bit later, but I've never made chocolate shortbread, so I'm kind of intrigued to see where this is going to go. But those 3 are all in the bowl, so we're going to mix those. And shockingly, I've made a mess and got it everywhere. That's just so typically me, in the words of Britney Spears. I was about to say the late great Britney Spears, but she's not dead, so sorry Britney. Leave Britney alone. And thus, this Game of Thrones video took a strange turn. Imagine Britney Spears in Game of Thrones, how crazy would that have been? Imagine if Britney played Daenerys. I mean, I really love Emilia Clarke, so I'm glad no one else did play Daenerys, but yeah. I think that was one of the controversial things about season 8, was how things played out with Daenerys. I don't mind her going Mad Queen. I feel like that was a cool way to end her story and everything. But I just think they did kind of rush into everything a bit in the events of the bells. So yeah, that was my one little issue. I didn't really feel like things were moving too fast, or it was being rushed, until episode 4. When they really started with the Mad Queen stuff. But you know, let's not dwell on negative things. Let's celebrate Game of Thrones with this video. I don't want to turn it into a debate in the comments or anything. So, who's your favourite character? What's your favourite season? What's your favourite episode? All of that jazz. Let's focus on things you really enjoyed about the show, as opposed to whether or not you liked how it ended. At first, in the early seasons, my favourite was Rob. I don't know why, I just really liked his kind of mindset and his determination stuff. And obviously, we kind of know how that all played out. And as the seasons went on, Jon Snow became my favourite. I really, really enjoyed him. So it was kind of funny to see both the actors gonna, start together again in the Eternals next year. So that should be fun.
High in the halls of the kings who are gone, Jenny would dance with her ghost. The ones she had lost and the ones she had found, and the ones who had loved her the most.
And to even further the Game of Thrones theme, as you can see here, I am using some Game of Thrones box sets as my stand because the tripod can't quite fit this area. It's not ideal, so I'm making it work. To sound like a baker, that's the dry ingredients mixed. So next we need to cube the butter and add it to the bowl and then mix it all up until there's an even crumb. I did actually put a little bit more than the recipe said because some of the comments on the recipe I actually ended up finding online said that they used a little bit more butter because it wasn't quite sticking together enough. So I've listened to that and yeah, I'm just going to split the butter up a bit further because I haven't really cubed it. So yeah, we're going to be putting that in, and this is the fun bit. This is where you get your hands dirty. Hopefully this is all going to go to plan. I really hope these turn out well. Out of everything that I'm kind of making out of this 12 days of Christmas, these are the ones I'm really, really hoping will turn out quite well because I think they'll look really cool. Be a nice surprise for Dad when he gets home if I've actually successfully made these because he really likes Daenerys, and I actually bought him a replica dragon egg last Christmas, or maybe it was for his birthday, I can't quite remember. So it'd be cool if we can actually get something that he can eat, because like me, he likes food. Alright, let's get stuck in. Oh, this is bringing back so many memories. So fondly remember being in my nan's kitchen. I used to go around there over the summer holidays, because obviously my parents would be working and stuff, and when I was younger I couldn't be left alone in the house. So me and my sister would often go around to my nan's every single day, and she'd look after us and my granddad. And then obviously once my sister's a couple years older, so when she was old enough to like do her own thing, I still went over to my nan's. And yeah, one day I remember she asked me if I wanted to help her make some shortbread, and I was like, yeah, go on then, because she knew I loved shortbread. So she promised we'd make some at some point, and we did. So I remember us having a laugh, getting our hands dirty like this, making the mix for it. It's one of my favourite memories of her actually. She's very sadly no longer with us, and she passed away a few years ago, but whenever I like have shortbread and make shortbread and stuff like that, I always go back to that day. It's one of my favourite memories. I miss her very much. It's definitely starting to feel like more of a dough, so that's good. So to keep it on theme, another question: who's looking forward to the Targaryen prequel they're making? Are you going to be watching it? Let me know your thoughts. I'm certainly going to check it out. I'm quite interested. Okay, so next we add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 tablespoon of cold water. And then we're going to be working it into a proper dough, so exciting! So we've got Madagascan vanilla extract, so that's going in there, and a tablespoon of cold water. Nice. So now we need to work those extra ingredients in to form a proper dough, and it says to add more water if necessary. I don't think we're going to need that because it's definitely going to get quite sticky now. And then after that we need to chill it for a bit, I believe. One chocolatey boy. I don't know exactly how many cookies this is going to make. Obviously this is going to like depend on like the size you choose, because this recipe kind of says, you know, buy like an egg-shaped cookie cutter. But I couldn't find one anywhere near me locally, so I've just like printed off like an egg shape online, and I'm just going to use that as like a rough template. And it's a fairly decent size, but you know, I want to keep it pretty small because I want to get as much out of it as I can. Because, you know, I want to get at least 3, definitely a lot more, but you know, you want at least 3 out of the dough because I have 3 different colour dragon eggs to do. So I'm aiming to do at least like 6, but we'll see how it goes. So there is our dough. All mixed up, good to go. I'm actually really happy with how that's turned out. It looks like dough, so that's pretty good going. And now we just need to leave it to chill. It doesn't say for how long, so I'm just going to keep checking on it and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will be right back. Okay, so it's been in the fridge chilling for a little bit. I've been chilling too. So now we need to roll the dough out, the dough even, to 1 centimetre thick on a floured surface. Ta-da! Let's do it. Okay, so now it's been rolled out a little bit. What I'm going to do is just like start cutting the egg shapes out of it and then just keep, you know, smushing it back up, rolling it out again, and rinse and repeat until I have enough cookies and some dough left over, because we're going to need a bit left over for the next step. So this is about the size we're going to go for. I'm going to use this as like a template. So let's get going. Right, so we actually got 4 out of that first bit, so I'm going to re-roll it now. We're definitely going to get quite a few out of this. Oh yes, I am truly becoming a master at this craft, I say before burning the house down. Okay, so I've made 12 things all cut out. We still have that much left, but I know we need to use some to like add some extra decoration, and I don't want to not have enough dough, so I'm going to decorate the 12 I already have, and if we have enough left over, I'm going to make another couple of cookies. But this, genius. So these are, I don't know if you can see them very well, these are our 12 eggs. They don't actually look too bad, I'm kind of impressed. And what we need to do now is, with the excess dough, create small scale pieces and place them onto the eggs, starting from the bottom and overlapping as we move upwards, to create the effect of the like dragon scales on the eggs in Game of Thrones. So let's see how this goes. Mushing like little pieces just like that, and then we're going to put them on the eggs. This is the bit that I'm worried about, because in the pictures they've done so well and they looked really cool, and we'll see how they turn out for me. As long as it looks okay, it'll be fine. Well, that took a long time. I'm now 36 years old. Yeah, that was at least an hour and a half that took me to roll up all the little bits of extra dough to create the scales and all the dragon eggs. I mean, I think it's worth it in the end. Hopefully it will turn out alright once we actually bake them, but you know, this isn't something you could quickly do, because just that one step alone took me literally an hour and a half, just sat here crying. But yeah, I'll see if So that's how they're looking right now. Pretty good, I would say. I'll get a proper shot once they're like properly out of the oven and everything, and once we decorate them, because we still need to add a final touch. So yeah, we need to bake them for, I believe, 12 to 15 minutes or until firm when pressed, and then obviously leave them to cool afterwards. So let's do that. Right, this is them fresh out of the oven, so I'm just going to let them cool and then we'll finish it off. Okay, so it's actually the next morning, because this took a very long time. Basically, yeah, I baked them for like 20-ish minutes, a bit over what the recipe said. Honestly, I think I overdid them just a bit, but it's okay. And then left them to cool, and then we decorated them. And obviously, because there were 12 in the end, and there were 3 different colour dragon eggs, I could do 4 of each colour. I'm going to show you a few of them in a minute, but this is the stuff I used. It's the Wilton colour dust, I think. We had green, red and gold. And just add a bit of water to it on the brush and just paint it on. And it took a long time, particularly the gold, because that took a couple of coats to really shine properly. And yeah, not too bad, definitely overbaked a bit. So if I were to do it again, I definitely wouldn't leave them in for as long. I just got a bit worried about underdoing them. So yeah, I think they actually did turn out really, really well, so I'm going to show you them now. I think they look really cool. Maybe not to the standards that were in like the photos on the website, but you know what, for my first attempt, I'm actually really, really pleased with how they turned out. Yeah, so that's them. This is obviously the gold one, then we have red and green. And yeah, it did take a while. It took probably the best part of an hour to actually get them all painted and stuff, so this is definitely more of a lengthier project than I was actually anticipating. But you know, I actually enjoyed the painting a lot more than I did putting the individual scales on, because that took ages, but I'm actually really, really happy with how they turned out in the end. So yeah, that's kind of them close up. I'm really impressed with how they look. I'm not quite so big on like chocolate shortbread as it is, so I think maybe if I were to try it with a biscuit, maybe I preferred, but the recipe did say, because of like the colours of the paint and everything, or the glitter, they go on better on chocolate shortbread, so that's why I actually made it, even if it's not like my favourite thing in the world. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end, considering I'm by no means a baker. And yeah, that's going to be it for this time, for this Game of Thrones video. Who knows if we'll ever make a video on Game of Thrones again on the channel. That's kind of crazy to think that could be it. But you know, we celebrated a show that ended this year. Controversial, yes, but important and special, I still think that's the case. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for another day of Christmas.